Welcome back to the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Circleworker. Here with us today, Aaron. Come say hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Alright, so in this video, we'll be taking another look into another NFL division, making some predictions for the NFC West, trying to determine what team is going to come out on top in the division, what the record for each team in the division is going to be, just by taking a look at each team's schedule. And by the end of this, you should know who we both think is going to come out as the NFC West champions in 2024.
And if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment and let us know what you think.
We are on our way to 250 subscribers, so your subscription means a lot in helping us reach that goal. But without further ado, let's go ahead and look at our first team in the NFC West. Alright, so starting off, we'll be looking at the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously last year the Cardinals suffered through injury to their starting quarterback Kyler Murray for a large portion of the year. Didn't get him back until after the halfway point in the season, I believe, after Josh Dobbs started off the season as their starting QB under center. This year, hoping with Kyler Murray starting the season off healthy that they're able to get off to a little bit of a better start. Obviously also brought in rookie wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. to hopefully provide a safety blanket for Kyler Murray going forward. As for how I think their season's going to go this year, I think they're going to do better than last year. Obviously, I mean, finishing fourth worst team in the league, it's hard to do worse. But I think they get off to a little bit of a rough start. 0-3, losing to Buffalo, Rams, and Detroit before picking up their first win against Washington at home. A little bit of a battle between Kyler Murray and rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. I think the experience of the Cardinals should hopefully win out in this game and get them their first dub of the season. Then another couple tough games against San Francisco and Green Bay. I just don't think they're going to be able to quite come up with. Both of them being on the road obviously doesn't help either. San Francisco, you're going to be facing them twice this year, obviously being a division rival, so that does not fare well for you. And then Green Bay is just looking to be a really good team this year, so I think that's just going to end up being a tough game on the road. But I do have you picking up your second win against the Chargers at home, before dropping one at Miami and then picking up your third win hosting Chicago and then losing to the Jets right before the bye week. So going into the bye week with 3 wins at 3-7, a little bit of a tough start obviously, but I believe you already matched your win total from last year with those 3 wins, if not one less, I think. So hey, you're on the right track. You're getting better, right? So, got you coming out of the bye at Seattle. I have you splitting with them this year, winning the one at home, losing the one on the road. That could flip, considering that this game is coming out the bye. But I do have you losing this one on the road to Seattle before picking up a couple straight wins at Minnesota and then your second game against Seattle. Losing a weird one to New England. Obviously, could easily pick this one up. New England's probably either going to be going with Jacoby Brissett or rookie quarterback Drake May at this point in the year. Gerard Mayo's first season as an NFL head coach, obviously. So all signs point to you guys probably winning this one. I've just got you losing a fluky game to New England. Maybe Drake May, it's his first start or something, and he comes out with a chip on his shoulder. But I do have you winning that one at Carolina after that. So, unfortunately, that is the last win I have you guys picking up before losing 2 straight to finish the year against the Rams and San Francisco. So I got you finishing the year at 6-11. Obviously, as I mentioned, could pick up a couple more wins in there. Win one against New England. Maybe you sweep Seattle and get both of those. So I could see you guys winning anywhere up to 8, maybe even 9 games this year. But my prediction is 6-11 as of right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you around that 6-win mark. I think this is going to be Jonathan Gannon's first kind of, true season as their head coach. Now, granted, he did have them looking fairly decent early on in the season last year with a backup quarterback, but then Kyler comes back, and whether it be rust or just downward momentum of the team, they just didn't perform very well. So I think doubling their wins from last year is definitely a step in the right direction for this team, and they'll probably look to build on that in the future. So I'm kind of right there with you with 6 wins for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and I think the inevitable question, in my opinion, is going to come out at some point this year if they do. I granted, like you said, win twice as many games as you did last year. Definitely a step forward. Building a completely new team around Kyler Murray with Jonathan Gannon as head coach, and I believe it's going to be his second season or third season, something like that. Is time ticking on Kyler Murray? Like, does he need to kind of, prove that he can get over the hump and not only lead a team to the playoffs, but win a playoff game at some point? Because right now it's been, I feel like it's safe to say it's been pretty disappointing what we've seen out of his, career as far as like the team goes. Maybe his individual statistics have been okay, but definitely not the success from a team standpoint that I think they imagined when drafting him first overall a few years ago, right?
I think if he doesn't show to be markedly improved, especially later in the season, there were thoughts about that offense being, college-like and somewhat predictable, and it not really being his fault for the fall off after mid-October. But with Gannon coming in and there being sort of a new system there, I think this will kind of really show, especially this not being his first season in it, being his second but his first full season as the starter with it.
Right.
I think if he doesn't show some real promise, that maybe they look to trade him, and I think they could get some good capital for him, because I think he could be a good quarterback in the right system. It's just they haven't really had a whole lot around him.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. It does kind of suck. You bring in a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., you ship out all the other receivers that you already had before drafting the dude, like Hollywood Browns in Kansas City, Rondale Moore's down in Atlanta, I believe. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do with essentially Marvin Harrison Jr. I think DJ Chark ended up signing there. Or Zay Jones, not DJ Chark. Zay Jones ended up signing there. So it'll be interesting to see what that team can do this upcoming year with hopefully a full season of a healthy Kyler Murray. But moving on to our second team in the NFC West, we got the Los Angeles Rams. Obviously last year, Matt Stafford, coming off of a injury-plagued 2022 season, was able to get the Rams back into the playoffs after winning a Super Bowl a few years ago over the Cincinnati Bengals. Got to the first round of the playoffs and lost to an old friend of his in the Detroit Lions, where he went back to his roots up there in Michigan and took the Lions to the brink to an extent before Detroit just inevitably ended up being a little too much, and the Dan Campbell experience deemed to be a freight train running off the tracks. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy, but anyways, we see that matchup again here in Week 1 this upcoming year, also in Detroit, where Matt Stafford returns for his second straight game at Ford Field against his old team as the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. And I think once again he loses for the second straight game at Ford Field against his old team as quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. So, yeah, starting off the season...
So you think the Rams get devoured by the Lions?
You could say that. Yeah, that's a very good metaphor, in fact. But yeah, they start off the season 0-1 before picking up the first one of the year in Week 2 at Arizona. Should hopefully inevitably end up sweeping them on the season, but go 1-1 before hosting San Francisco. I think San Francisco is going to be incredible. We'll get to them in a second, obviously. Lose to them before facing Chicago and Green Bay before heading into their bye. I do think they win both of those last two games. So running into the bye, they're at 3-2. Not too bad, especially considering your two losses are to the two teams that met in the NFC Championship game last year and are basically bringing back the same exact rosters. So coming out of the bye, I got you losing to Vegas. Not exactly sure why. Maybe they're mad that you're kind of claiming that Northern California. Well, I guess San Francisco's doing that. I don't know. I got you losing to Vegas for some reason coming out of the bye. But then after that, I got you 1-4 straight, beating Minnesota, Seattle, Miami, New England. Before heading into a tough matchup against what, in my opinion, is going to be at this point in the year a surging Philadelphia Eagles team. So I got you losing that one to Philly, picking up another win against New Orleans after that before dropping two straight, one to Buffalo, and then inevitably getting swept by San Francisco this season. But then I got you finishing the year up, 3-game winning streak, finishing the year 11-6. As of right now, before we take a look at these last two teams, you're leading the division, but I don't think that's going to end up being the case. I think the Rams are going to be really good. I think they're going to make the playoffs once again as a wild card team, unfortunately. But I think San Francisco is going to end up we'll get to them, like I said, in a second, but I just think they're going to be a little too good for the Rams to come out on top this year.
I kind of have the Rams as a middle of the pack team. I think they've got certainly some health questions, especially on that offensive side of the ball with Stafford and Kupp missing so much time recently, and them not necessarily being young players. So I've got the Rams around 9 wins, kind of fighting for that second place spot in their division. Maybe probably an outside shot at getting a wild card spot for that NFC side, but I mean, they've got good receivers, good quarterback. If they can stay healthy, and then you throw in the fact that they lost Aaron Donald this offseason, that's a big part of their defensive success these past 10 years. So I think that they might be in for a bit of a rough season, not super rough, but maybe not what they hoped.
Yes, yeah, I'm hoping that the another year of Kupp and Stafford being back from injury hopefully counteracts the loss of Aaron Donald to an extent. Also, obviously bringing in the two. I know they're not the same as Aaron Donald by any means, but bringing in the two guys from Florida State to kind of shore up that defensive line to an extent in Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. But yeah, I mean, I think the Rams are going to be pretty good. I think Stafford's still got a lot left in the tank. I think his receiving core's going to end up being top 10 in the league again with Kupp and Tutu Atwell. I guess he's there too, but Kupp and Puka Nacua. You got our old friend Demarcus Robinson as well, who's been kind of making waves there at the end of the last season. So I think the Rams are going to be really competitive. I think they should comfortably get a wild card seed because I think the 7th seed in the NFC is going to be 2 games worse than they are. But yeah, it'll be exciting to see how the Rams are in their first year sans Aaron Donald. Next we got the reigning, defending NFC, not just West, but conference champion, San Francisco 49ers. Last year in Brock Purdy's first full season as a starter. He picked up right where he left off the previous year whenever he took over for Jimmy G and Trey Lance. But yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy looks like he's legit. Obviously, they have an incredible supporting cast around him on offense, not taking anything away from him, just pointing out the facts that he's got a top 5 receiving core, a top 5 running back room, and probably a top 5 offensive line. So it's not hard to be a top 5 quarterback when you got all those things, but I digress. You got easily the number one running back in the league, Christian McCaffrey. You got Deebo Samuel. Looks like you're going to be on the outs with Brandon Ayuk soon, but you did draft what's-his-face out of Florida, whose name escapes me at the moment. Aaron, help me out.
Ricky Pearsall?
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall. You drafted him to kind of be ready to replace Ayuk, and then obviously you're looking to get a receiver in return for whoever ends up trading for Ayuk. And then on top of all that, you still got an incredible defense and the second best tight end. Yes, I said second best tight end in the league in George Kittle, because Travis Kelce's number one. But hey, number two's not bad.
Homer pick.
Fair enough. I have a bit of a bias here. But anyways, I've got you starting off the year on a 5-game winning streak. Winning games against the Jets, Rams along the way. The other 3 are kind of teams that you should be expected to beat. And then I got you losing a weird division rival game on the road against Seattle. But you'll like this, San Francisco. I got you beating us. I got you beating the Chiefs in the regular season. Because in my predictions, for some reason, I don't have the Chiefs beating a single damn playoff team. But and then also winning that game against the Dallas Cowboys. So starting the year off, heading into the bye. A beautiful, beautiful 7-1 record. Although the loss is not the team you'd expect it to be. It's Seattle, but still, Thursday night game, short week, division rival on the road. It can happen. Heading into week 10 against Tampa Bay. Got you winning that one, as well as the week after that against Seattle. Getting a little bit of revenge, getting a get back from that week 6 loss that you took on Thursday night. And then I got you losing a game to a tough Green Bay team on the road in the brutal cold of November, I guess. It's kind of cold November. But, yeah, losing a tough game to Green Bay. They get a little bit of a revenge from those last playoffs whenever you took them down to end their season. But then I got you rattling off 4 straight. Beating Chicago, Buffalo, Rams, Miami. And then losing a weird one to Detroit. Or a tough one to Detroit there in week 17. Monday night game, a lot of pressure on you guys. I know you guys aren't used to pressure, having, played in the last 2 NFC Championship games as well as the Super Bowl last year. So you're not used to playing big games, I know. But yeah, and then I got you beating Arizona on the road to finish up the season, winning the NFC West once again and finishing the year 14-3, which you would think would be good enough for the 1 seed in the NFC. But due to tiebreakers, it's the 2 seed. So, but you'll love who your playoff matchup is in the first round of my universe. So stay tuned for that video coming out within the next 2 weeks.
So you've got 3 teams winning 14 games?
I do.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the similar track. I've only got them winning 11 games. Good season. Kind of should fairly easily win the division. Be in contention for that number 1 seed. Despite the fact that they're probably going to be missing Dre Greenlaw for the majority of the season, as he suffered that. Was it Achilles or ACL? I think it was Achilles.
I think it was Achilles.
In the Super Bowl. So that sucks, but hopefully he'll be back for your playoff run. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. It's the 49ers. They're stacked. Maybe you could argue a lack of depth in some areas, but they've got high-end talent everywhere. So
yeah, I expect them to be right in the mix for NFC champions once again. Should be a top 2, if at least top 3 seed, I'd imagine, and should easily win this division from the looks of it. So yeah, I mean, they should just pick up right where they left off last year, barring, knock on wood, barring any injury, because that's been really the only thing that's held the Niners back in the last 5, 6, 7 years, however long Shanahan's been there. The only thing holding them back has been injuries. Because when Jimmy G was healthy, they were always competitive, Problem is, he couldn't stay healthy, so Brock Purdy being able to do that's kind of the key. And then it goes for all their other players, because, I mean, McCaffrey's had injuries, histories in the past. Kittle, obviously, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams. So, yeah, if those players can stay healthy, San Francisco's as good as anybody.
Hey, they got Cody Schrader, so if CMC goes down, they're golden.
That's true. They do have the best running back coming out of college this year. So. And finally, we finish off the NFC West with the Seattle Seahawks. Last year, the Seahawks looked to be in position to come away with a potential wild card spot in the playoffs. Kind of came down to them and the Rams there towards the end of the year, with the Rams edging them out. Not edging, but edging them out in order to come out with the 7th seed or the 6th seed, 5th seed, 6th seed, 5th seed, 6th seed? One of the wild card seeds in the playoffs last year. And then obviously the Packers were able to sneak in there and get the 7th seed and kill any hope of Seattle making the playoffs. But this year, I kind of got a fairly similar story. I've got them hovering right around that 500 mark for the majority of the year, and then finishing off one game under 500. We'll get to how I got there, but I got them starting off the year 2-0, beating Denver and New England. A little bit of an easy start to their season, facing at least one terrible/rookie quarterback. I don't know if it's going to be Bo Nix. I don't know if it's going to be Zach Wilson. I don't know if it's going to be Jarrett Stidham. But if it's not Bo Nix, it's a terrible quarterback. If it's Bo Nix, it's a rookie quarterback. So, and then same with New England. If it's Jacoby Brissett, it's a terrible quarterback. Well, starter, not backup. He's a really good backup. But as a starting quarterback, Jacoby Brissett's terrible. And then you got Drake May, who's a rookie, or Joe Milton if they want to get really fancy. He had a really good week 1 in the preseason. He's also a rookie. So I got you winning those first 2 games before dropping 2, getting right back to that 500 point that I think is going to be just your best friend all season. Losing to Miami and Detroit to go 2-2 to start this year. Then I got you winning 3 straight, beating the Giants, winning a weird game at home against San Francisco Thursday night at home. They've got a short turnaround, so do you, but you ain't got to travel. So got you winning that game, weirdly enough, before also picking up a win at Atlanta, improving your record to 5-2. And then I got you losing 3 straight, getting right back to that 500 point that I think is going to be, like I said, your best friend all season, Seattle. Losing to Buffalo, losing to the Rams before heading into their bye week, and then coming out and letting the Niners kind of get their revenge as you go on the road to San Francisco. And then I got you winning a game versus Arizona to get right above 500. And then for the first time all year, you fall under 500, losing 3 straight games to the Jets, Cardinals, and Packers. But then I got you winning 2 straight. Gets right back to that 500 point that I said was your best friend all season long. Beating Minnesota, beating Chicago. And it all comes down to that Week 18 matchup at the Rams. Are you going to go above 500? Are you going to go below 500? In my universe, you go below 500. Lose to the Rams in Week 18 and finish the year 8-9. A tough start to the Mike McDonald era up there in Seattle. But maybe there's some light on the horizon for this franchise.
Lighter.
Do what?
Is that just? I said, are you gonna point out the light, or you just?
I just maybe. New head coach, he's got to get his shit together. They didn't get too much worse. I mean, they probably stay right about the same. I think they were basically 500 last year. So yeah, I think he gets a chance to implement his regime a little bit without really regressing the team too awful much. I think Geno Smith, the closer you can get to the end of his contract, the better, in my opinion, because he's good enough to start for you for now, but you got to start looking for that franchise guy here soon. And I don't think Sam Howell's the answer. So I think they're going to have to look at the draft here, maybe this next year or 2. So
maybe trade for Kirk?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler.
Brought him up earlier. I don't know if they trade in division though.
Yeah, probably not, especially a franchise hopeful
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm kind of right there with you. I got the Seahawks with 9 wins. I think this could be a really exciting offense to watch. Because they might have to score, not only because they should be good, but they might have to score a lot of points. Because I'm not quite sold on their defense. But that offense could be high flying and really exciting. 2 really good running backs in Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. So I think this could be a really fun offense to watch.
Yeah, I'd like to see some growth out of Jackson Smith and Jigba. Obviously, you still got DK Metcalf out there. Maybe Noah Fant can take another step forward at the tight end position. It'll be interesting to see how the Seattle team can grow. Like I said, I don't picture Geno Smith being around for more than maybe another 2 years at this point. So gotta start looking for that new young franchise guy somewhere. Maybe they think Sam Howell's the dude. I have my reservations because the guy takes more sacks than Andrew Luck did at the beginning of his career. So yeah,
I don't know if that's true.
I think it's statistically true.
I'm pretty sure, wasn't he like the most sacked quarterback over 5 season span or something like that?
Whenever he played, but like whenever it was at that time, yeah. But I think shit's gotten pretty bad for some of these quarterbacks. I could be wrong.
I don't know, but I don't know if anybody's. I think somebody did pass him last year. Sam Howell might have been.
I thought that's what I
Passed him,
said.
like,
Yeah,
like might have passed him.
that's who I'm talking about.
I thought you said Geno Smith.
No,
I
no,
thought you were
yeah,
talking about Geno Smith.
no, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Sam Howell gets sacked more times than Andrew Luck does and did in the beginning of his career. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Seattle can tread this water. But here are our predictions for the teams in the NFC West right here. As you can see, we both think that the Niners are going to be pretty good. Pretty good. Safe to say, they're not going to be bad. Barring injury. Yeah, we got them winning the division. Both of us think they're going to win the division. Both of us think that the Rams could sneak out with a playoff game in a wild card spot. And then both of us kind of see Seattle and Arizona fighting for that third place spot in the NFC West this year. But feel free to let us know down below if you agree with these opinions or not. But yeah, I think the NFC West should be pretty good this year. I think the Rams are gonna, try to make a statement as like they're not going anywhere kind of thing. That we're still gonna be competitive, but I just don't see the Cardinals or Seattle Seahawks being able to quite get into the level of the Rams even, and definitely not the level of the Niners. I think it's gonna be. The Niners look inevitable, is basically what I'm saying. So, any last thoughts on the NFC West? Alright, well, in that case, I think that'll do it for this episode of the Most Unprofessional Sports Channel on YouTube, Swivel Chair Sports. I've been your host, Zach Zuckerberg-Merkel, here with the coast today. Aaron, don't say bye, Aaron.
Bye.
Alright, like I said, please make sure to comment down below if you disagree with any of our opinions. And definitely comment down below if you agree with any of our opinions, because that makes us feel special. But, also, if you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. Deuces, and have a good day.